Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday podcast. I'm coming to you ridiculously early. Maybe not the earliest, but maybe the earliest done podcast for this because heading into Galaxycon a little bit. Talk about this more later in the Aftermath podcast, but they moved the hours earlier for the exhibitors so that the VIPs can get there. So we have to be in there and set up at 9:15, which means we've got to be there by like 8 o'clock to have a parking space. And probably no guarantee that that'll even function then we get there. But we'll totally see how it goes. Um, but either way, I'm mixing some fruit, and my daughter Rosa is trying to sleep over as I talk through this process. But she's got to get up in like 15 minutes anyway, so it'll be okay. Hope y'all are doing well. Good morning, Tristan. Um, Hope you're doing good, man. But yeah, let's jump into it. Also, I pre-rolled the Bible reading today. I'll post a picture of it. I think there's a picture in my Instagram stories, but I'll post it like on Facebook and my Instagram. But we rolled Nahum chapter 3. So if you want to read along in a little bit, we'll get to Nahum chapter 3. Let's jump into some news. And this honestly really was a newsworthy week, but I don't know how much I'm going to go over today, just for the sake of time. But we'll see. But yeah, here we go. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing good. It's been a long month, but we're at the biggest show of the first quarter of the year, or I guess technically, yeah. But like all I see is my little tight feet of 6 feet space. So more on that in the other podcast. One off, Christopher Waltz, the multiple time Academy Award winning actor from Django and Glorious and other things, will be joining the cast of Only Murders in the Building this year because literally everybody and their mama, plus their great aunt Tootie, is in this show. Like seriously, there's a lot of people that are in Only Murders in the Building, and it's kind of crazy. But Christopher Waltz will be joining Only Murders. I'm gonna eat this piece of melon and continue talking. Good morning, Scotty. Hope you have a fine day, sir. Um, Matt Owens, the producer and director of the live action One Piece series, will be stepping down uh, from running the show after season two. Season two is filmed, and they're in uh, the post FX and everything of it. But he said that he is stepping down for his mental health because it's a lot to put this show on. It's been a great experience, but he said it's a lot, and he's going to take a break. I don't know that I know anybody else I trust enough other than Straw Hat Goofy to run this show, but um, either way, he's stepping down. Uh, Jennifer Lopez is filming a romantic comedy with Brett Goldstein, who you may know as Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. And Roy Kent, or Brett Goldstein specifically wrote this romantic comedy for him to star in with Jennifer Lopez. And apparently they're having the time of their lives. So I'm just picturing like Brett Goldstein 2 years ago. He's like, I'm gonna write a romantic comedy. I'm going to get Jennifer Lopez to star in it. She's going to like me. And like literally dude making it happen. So dream your dreams, little man. Dream your dreams. Um, the Netflix series of Daredevil saw a 153% boost in Disney Plus watch time once Daredevil Born Again premiered, and it's continuously rising up. So a lot more people are seeing the original Daredevil series. This past week, a fire broke out at Epcot at Disney World. People were evacuated, stuff was burning. I hope you have a great day too, Scotty. I'm gonna be in a room with a bunch of nerds for about 12 hours. Um, Evanescence is dropping new music for the upcoming Devil May Cry anime series. That will be one of its themes. Bands have found new life and resurgence by dropping music for Netflix originals as of late, especially like with Imagine Dragons, Linkin Park, etc. With the Arcane series and the Devil May Cry series, looks like it's going to be another platform for musical artists to like remind people why they're relevant. Again, the theme song for this series is going to be Limp Bizkit's Rolling. So just keep that in mind. 23andMe is filing for bankruptcy, and the Attorney General has recommended everyone delete their data and their family ancestry from this before they file for bankruptcy because people could go in there and use your data and your genetics however they want if they buy the company via bankruptcy. Um, I understand it's a great resource. I've had friends that have literally found their family through this, but if that's the type of thing that concerns you, you might want to jump on it. The Office turned 20 years old this past week. I recommended people read the Dwight Schrute chapter from Faith and Fandom Book 7, which is also available to read on our website. Also, Rainn Wilson, Dwight is at the Comic-Con with me this weekend. He did a also separate show at a Washington, D.C. theater last night. Didn't see that. Didn't see him yesterday. I literally didn't see anything other than the row between my booth and my bathroom. So, um, Kai Cenat, one of the world's largest, no, he is the world's most subscribed streamer on all platforms. Finished a big Scotty sitting on the waterway. Ooh, buddy, Myrtle Beach camping. That sounds like a great morning, man. Um, Kai Cenat finished his Brazilian tour with instead of pulling like a stunt or something for ratings specifically, he went to the statue of Christ the Redeemer and prayed on his stream, which sparked a lot of conversations for people. If you're a fan of Psych, they released new Funkos for the series. Miley Cyrus has a new album coming out, um, and she is covered in 1997 Couture, um, that had a specific theme and stuff for her. So, but Miley Cyrus' new album is supposed to be a big one. The company Edible Arrangements is taking, I don't even know what to say to this. They're capitalizing on the cultural significance of their name now because now with edible arrangements, you can start getting edibles like drugs, like THC, like marijuana, etc. Um, you can now start adding edibles to your edible arrangements. Um, and that they're planning to launch whole things of this where you can get a whole arrangement of edibles and drugs and such. So if they want to change the name of what you do around you, I guess you adapt. Tony Todd, the late actor, will make his final appearance on the big screen in the upcoming Final Destination Bloodlines, which will drop in May. Saw 11 has officially been postponed, And the movie Strangers Chapter 2 will take its place in the box office in terms of release dates. It's not canceled per se, but it's out of the running for now. Um, there was a J. Cole music video shoot scheduled for Fayetteville, North Carolina, this week or weekend, but apparently the information got out too heavily on social media, and people were already like planning to have pop-up shops and sell stuff and everything. Um, it was scheduled for Sunday, March 23rd, so it was this past Sunday. Um, and it was not a city-sponsored event, but because it um, got too much attention, they had to drop it. This is the 30th anniversary of the movie A Goofy Movie. And with that, Disney and Disney Parks is releasing a whole line of things. If you've been to Disneyland or World in the last, 20 years, not even 20 years, gosh, maybe the last 15 years, 10, I don't know. Part of the entrance is bracelets, and you get them customized. They now have a standout Goofy Movie 30th anniversary admission bracelet, which makes me want to go to Disney this year just to get that. They also have lots of Goofy Movie themed apparel, Max bags, etc. In Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is a near city to me, a 12-year-old girl was shot in the back while leaving a carnival this past week. She caught the a stray bullet between a fight. I don't have the word if she's still how she's currently doing, but the first initial check was that she may never walk again. But that was just stray gunfire um, at the carnival in Fayetteville. A new study this week um, by Taylor Berry and information that goes within it states, and there's a new book called Attention Span, and no, a new book called, yeah, it's called Attention Span. And the her book Attention Span is stating and giving scientific evidence that heavy social media use could be destroying you spiritually and emotionally and relationally. That um, the current stream of our social media activity has conditioned us that we can't focus on anything for more than 47 seconds without having to change what we're doing. And in that note, meaning it would make it incredibly hard to have a focused prayer time and to not be antsy with what we're doing. Um, and that a prayer that might once have been 10 minutes will become two yeah, and that things like worship music can become easier to deal with than prayer because uh, it at least keeps snapping our attention back. But she said at the going rate, our capacity for conversation, as well as our capacity for relationships, is going to continue to dwindle down. Um, several big names in comic books are exiting and cutting all ties with Marvel. Dustin Nguyen, one of my favorite creators of all time, is officially left Marvel and said he's out completely. Rosa, Rosa Mirai. I'm gonna throw a dice at her. Rosa, it's 6:30. She told me to wake her up at 6:30. It's 6:30. The dice bag worked. All right. So yes, they're saying that our attention spans are drastically going down with that. But Dustin Nguyen officially left Marvel, and he won't be back for a while. Um, the longtime voice actor for Beast Boy and everything DC, Greg Kipes, who I've met a few times, has announced that he has been diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's disease and will be pretty open about his treatments and policy with that. A friend associate of mine, Mario Benevetti, has announced that his candidacy for running for mayor of Fayetteville, if you're local and that matters to you. Um, in Texas this past week, three teenagers assaulted and attempted to murder their mother, or at least heavily damaged their mother, because she turned off the Wi-Fi. And three teenagers grabbed knives and attempted to stab her until she had to call for authorities because she turned the Wi-Fi off and they couldn't get it back on. Um, this isn't official, that it's officially done yet, but Nick Frost, uh, Ed from Shaun of the Dead, slash Santa from Doctor Who, has been put as the front runner for Hagrid for the HBO series Harry Potter. Previously, it had been Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso, but now they're looking towards Nick Frost. Haley Van Lilith, a TCU athlete, used her time on the microphone and spotlight this week to give God glory. She said, "This is the moment that God wants people to know my story, and He's taken me literally from the depths of wanting to die to the moment of loving life." And so, she's using her um, platform to do it. Tristan says, "Watching Hector wake up his teenage daughter may be the most relatable thing I've ever watched." Yes, and she rolled back over. 5 minutes. All right. All I got left is a book and a highlighter. So, um, you don't want the smoke. Um, but yeah, Nick Frost. One big nerd a news announcement for this week is that Marvel unveiled 27 cast members of the upcoming Avengers Doomsday, which is exciting in a lot of ways, but people are also complaining that it might have spoiled some of the information for the Thunderbolts, being who was there and who wasn't there. But literally everybody and their mama's in it, minus the Eternals. Uh, it was just as good. Minus the Eternals, Captain Marvel, and Kamala Khan so far are some notable exceptions. But Robert Downey Jr. also stated that they're not done with the casting announcements. Um, a Scooby-Doo live action series has been ordered for Netflix after the recent really bad reaction to the Velma series on HBO Max. Um, Netflix is taking a swing at a live action Scooby-Doo, and it has been ordered for 8 episodes. So we'll see how that plays out. Um, Mel Gibson states that The Passion of the Christ will start filming again this summer, and that the sequel to The Passion of the Christ will be shot in Rome. Um, Tristan Birch says we don't talk about the Eternals. Yeah, but they put Homeboy's hand in Captain America Brave New World. And that's where adamantium comes from now. So it's whatever. But in the listing that we saw for Avengers, Thor, Invisible Woman, Sam Wilson, Captain America, Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, Shuri, Ant-Man, Agent or U.S. Agent, um, Namor. I can't believe Namor is back. The Eternals aren't back, but Namor is back. But again, whatever. Um, Namor, The Thing, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, played by Florence Pugh. And I think that might be a spoiler thing, is that they're saying that Yelena being called Black Widow now is a spoiler, but whatever. Um, Kelsey Grammer is back as Beast. Uh, we've got Falcon, we've got Sentry, Human Torch, Red Guardian, M'Baku, Ghost. Loki is back. Tom Hiddleston is back. I'm a little sad at that because the ending to Loki season 2 was about as perfect as you can get. Um, but whatever. Charles Xavier is back with Patrick Stewart. Magneto is back with they listed his name as Charles Xavier, so they weren't doing that. Hey, Lynn says good morning, praying for all goes well at Galaxycon. Thank you, Lynn. We could probably use it. Yesterday was a day. Um, well, we could use prayer any day. But it is greatly appreciated. Um, but Ian McKellen is back as Magneto. Alan Cumming is back as Nightcrawler. Rebecca Romaine is back as Mystique. James Marsden is back as Cyclops. Good for him. And one of the things that people are really cheering for is the fact that Channing Tatum is officially getting a real Gambit role in a real Marvel movie. Um, yeah. Um, Lynn Turner says she's beginning to think it would have been easier to list who's not in Doomsday. Yeah, and they're not done. It's crazy. Um, Also Reed Richards, and yeah, there's a ton of folks. Um, yeah. So off of Avengers news, if you're familiar with the series The Last of Us, you know that it's a zombie story that revolves around cordyceps or mushrooms. Well, if you also know, hipster culture recently has adapted to making mushroom coffee. Um, and if you drink mushroom coffee, I ain't mad at you. I just don't know why your brain works the way it does. Um, and the people who have tried to convince me thus far have not convinced me. Um, Either way, The Last of Us is capitalizing on this as well. And so The Last of Us is officially releasing their own cordyceps mushroom coffee. So a show and video game franchises that built the fact that mushrooms turn you into zombies is now releasing their own mushroom coffee. If this is how the apocalypse starts, it's your fault. It's your fault. The TV series Watson is renewed for season two at CBS. Um, Rosa, it's 8:38. My sister in Christ. Um, but Watson is renewed for season two. Um, it started off with rocky ratings, but Randall Park being revealed as Moriarty did help the show gain some steam. And so it will be back for season two. Joe Gatto from the TV series Impractical Jokers was accused of some sexual assault allegations this week. And in a rare turn for public accusations and things, rather than just denying it or anything else, he had himself checked into a facility to work on himself and these issues. He stated, having taken some time to reflect, I've decided to voluntarily enter myself into a program to continue working on myself. I just want to thank my friends and fans, especially my family, for all their support. Never more so than ever. This sentence is not sentencing. Um, Over the last few days. So, he didn't pledge any guilt to this, but he said, you know what, I'm going to work on myself and see how that functions. But yeah, Duke University is livid with White Lotus because some heinous acts are performed in the series with one of the main characters. I haven't watched it either, dude. Um, Hey, flip those other lights on while you're in there so I can get a little more light up in her. Thank you. Um, but Jason Isaacs, aka Lucius Malfoy, apparently performs some heinous acts while wearing a Duke t-shirt. And he's a character from Durham, North Carolina. And Duke University officially put out a statement disavowing White Lotus. Claim them. Duke appreciates as it states, Duke appreciates artistic expression and creativity in storytelling, but characters prominently wearing apparel bearing Duke's federally registered trademark creates confusion and mistakenly suggests an endorsement of affiliation where none exists. So Duke says, don't commit evil things wearing our t-shirts. Um, yes. Uh, a young man has been become a popular meme as of late after John Cena um, pointed to him and called him out in Germany, and then he became a meme of sadness. But that young man has been interviewed and said John Cena pointed his finger at me and I was honored. I didn't know he was going to poop on me. Explicative deleted. But I understand he was in character. To me, John Cena will always be a hero. So there you go. Little man gets it. Um, uh, Kermit the Frog has been officially announced as the University of Maryland College Parks commencement speaker this year. Um, why, Rosa? Oh, bye or why bye? It's the university where Jim Henson went and created the Muppets. My guy. And Kermit was once the speaker there before in 19 or in somewhere in the years past. But Jim Henson graduated from there in 1960 and he created the Muppets there. Um, so Kermit the Frog will be the commencement speaker for this year. The author of the Vampire Diaries, L.J. Smith, is dead this week at the age of 66. In a evangelical event that took place in Louisiana. Is that correct? Yes, Louisiana. Um, and let me find the right name of this event. Yeah, I don't even see the name of it. I don't think it had a big, like, flashy name. There was a kind of a crusade evangelical event that took place in Louisiana this week. Leo Miller, um, pastor at First Baptist Church of Denham Springs, um, reported that 602 uh, students uh, made a first-time profession for faith in Jesus Christ. Um, yeah, but there were thousands of students at this thing, and 602 uh, students made first-time professions and believing in Jesus and submitting their lives. So that is something that took place that celebrates. Um, the Doge, as we're saying these days, has officially cut grant money for the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, which impacts health and human services here in our state or in my state. I'm in Virginia right now. What am I talking about? Um, in Shuti Gatwa, who plays the Doctor on Doctor Who, was recently on Jimmy Fallon, and on the Jimmy Fallon show, said that his favorite moment and what he's gotten so far from being Doctor Who is that Ryan Gosling is a Whovian, and Ryan Gosling was one of the first people to have a Nshuti Doctor Who t-shirt. He had one custom made that he wears. And so Ryan Gosling wearing an Nshuti Doctor Who t-shirt is Nshuti Gatwa's screensaver on his phone, which he revealed on the Jimmy Fallon show. If you're a fan of the NFL, there is a nose wipe celebration, which is kind of like derogatory to the opposing team. That has now been ruled a 15-yard penalty. So if you do the nose wipe celebration in the NFL, that's offensive, and you will be fined 15 yards. In surprising news, the podcasting world has seen an uptick of celebrities and former celebrities rising up to take the throne of podcasting goodness. And Amy Poehler of Parks and Recreation now has uh, uh, the top spot of podcasts in the world. Um, she overtook Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson, but her podcast, Good Hang, is officially filled with A-list guests, and she is the top podcast in the world. Other podcasts include Dateline, Pod Save America, the Dana Carvey and David Spade podcasts are some of the other top 10. Um, Tina Fey is also launching, Tina Fey and Martin Short are also doing theirs. If you're In my neighborhood, Malicio's, a Ital or Mexican restaurant that is very popular, was broken into twice by the same burglar, and that dude was finally caught this week. In a bit of comic book news and drama, uh, surrounding people being evil and douchey. One of my favorite artists in the world is Afua Richardson. She's mentioned by name on the TV series Lovecraft Country. She's done work on Black Panther. Did work in Across the Spider-Verse. She's done the Pull List podcast. She's a wonderful human being. And she's currently writing a comic book called The Book of Mare. Um, at one point during Afua's journey, Jason Pearson, who was an artist, who had a bit of beef with Afua, but Jason Afua worked it out. It all went well. Well, Jason has since passed, and fans of Jason have been aggressively trolling and being belligerent and offensive to Afua Richardson. And Afua has tried very respectfully and politely to satiate these shenanigans, um, to the point that this week, the late Jason Pearson's mother, released a public statement saying that Afua and Jason were cool. Y'all stop being douche waffles. Please stop and leave Afua alone. So, if you see someone being aggressive towards Afua Richardson on the internet, um, Jason Pearson's mama says, "You a dang fool, and you better stop it." But also, be nice to people because nobody needs this garbage. Um, this week, uh, a the largest fully preserved dinosaur claw ever has been unearthed in Mongolia in the Gobi Desert. Not just the bones, a fully intact dinosaur claw, two-pronged dinosaur claw, um, which shows us that they looked more like a bizarre mix of a sloth and a giraffe, than what we've previously understood them to look like. Um, and Yeah, there was a lot. The Nintendo Switch will more than likely be going on pre-order this week. Um, the Best Buy out of Canada may have blown the secret by revealing that they're taking pre-orders on April 2nd. So be prepared. And if you are a gamer, you're want to get your pre-order in real fast because they will sell out. Um, a dude dressed like Spider-Man was arrested this week in Fairfax, Virginia, after robbing a comic book collectible store and card store for more than $10,000 worth of Pokemon, Dragon Ball, and One Piece cards. What's up? The Target bag. Un momento. Me homies. Wow. Thank you, man. Ugh. But yeah, a dude dressed like Spider-Man and then robbed a trading card store. Nerds. Um, Star Alan Richson says that he was knocked unconscious for the finale of season three of Reacher. He said it was some of the scariest moments of his life, some of the worst moments of his life. So I've not seen the season finale, but apparently he gets knocked clear out during that process. Paul Giamatti is returning to the world of Downton Abbey, which that's not fake inflection. I'm super pumped. I love Downton Abbey. Um, because as Pam Beasley states, Downton Abbey is life. Um, so yes, Paul Giamatti is returning to Downton Abbey in a new movie, and uh, he's apparently going to change the landscape in a very significant way. Mumford and Sons was angry with Jimmy Fallon Which, by the way, ooh, a new Mumford and Sons album drops today. I'm excited. I'm gonna buy that as soon as I get off of here. As well, the second half of Ren Collective's folk album. And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna say it. I've been beating this to death. Ren Collective, Fight of My Life is my current anthem and song. Um, Navigating by 21 Pilots and Oldie Station by 21 Pilots was the previous, and they're still in there, but Fight of My Life is my song currently. But there's also a new song on the Ren Collective album called Burn that I got to hear them perform for the first time live ever at the beginning of their tour. Either way, new Mumford and Sons today. Rushmere's the album. Ren Collective Folk Part 2. But Mumford and Sons went on Jimmy Fallon this week to state that they were not happy with his introduction on SNL. They've been friends for years um, at the SNL 50th, and they were expecting some intricate introduction because Jimmy Fallon went on forever about Lady Gaga, and they thought they were going to get some really great intro. And Jimmy just said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mumford and Sons," and they were unhappy. They said, "Thought we were friends." And remember the song Fireflies? 10,000 fireflies. That whole song has officially reached 1 billion streams this week. So people still listening to Fireflies. God, good on you and God bless you. um, North Carolina Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a mother that sued because her 14-year-old son was injected with a COVID vaccine at school, um, as a medical provider forced him to get the COVID vaccine without his consent, her consent, or her knowledge. So she sued and she won. That took place. A man is giving his story that he lost 150 pounds on Ozempic, but it triggered something within him that is causing him to lose his mental capacity, his memory, his sight, his speech, his hearing, and he says he can barely walk or eat. And there's more stories fully fleshed out about that at the Daily Mail. But y'all be careful out there with that drug. Um, George Foreman passed away this week, the grill maker that wounded Michael Scott's foot. Also, former boxing champion and turned pastor. He passed away this week at 76. Um, DoorDash is now instituting credit. And y'all, this is not a good thing. Don't do this. But DoorDash is now letting you set up payment plans to have stuff DoorDash to you. That includes food, but that also includes stuff from stores. So if you want to DoorDash a PS5 and pay later, that's going to be an option. But y'all, I'm going to tell you, it's not the right option. Don't do this. Bad life choice. Um, Conor McGregor got booed off stage at a Limp Bizkit concert in Dublin, Ireland. That's a thing. So first of all, I'm just unpacking that whole sentence. Limp Bizkit concert in Dublin, Ireland. Conor McGregor comes out and gets booed off stage. Jeff Bezos announced he is launching a $10 billion space station in 2030 that will host tourists. So chew on that. In 5 years, there will be a space station where you can go on vacation, but we're drinking mushrooms and starting apocalypses. Do do do. Yeah, that's a thing. Multiple bombs were found inside the showroom of the Tesla display in Texas, meaning somebody was literally going to blow up a showroom with people in it. But they were found. Um, there was also the thing this week that happened with government officials sending texts that contained secret war plans. You can read a lot more on the details on that, but that's not very smooth. Um, it was announced this week that cat purrs may have properties that can heal bones. Studies show that cat purring vibrations ranging from 20 hertz to 150 hertz can actually promote bone growth and bone healing. So if you got a cat, it literally may make you stronger. Um, Melania Trump's wedding dress is on sale on eBay for $187,000. So if you just been saying, you know what I want in my life? Melania Trump's wedding dress. That's what I need. Well, eBay is the place to go. Um, a 12-year-old boy um, has been killed in Ohio after being forced to take ice baths. Um, Scotty says he's been on Ozempic for 2 years and I'm still normal, except my A1C is from 9 to 6.3. Hey, congratulations, man. And I'm glad for you. And I know there's lots of people on Ozempic that are having no problems. But if you see you having problems, check it. There's also a lot of like store brand Ozempics now that are going out there that, are probably a little bit less tested. But again, check with your medical professionals. What do I know? As long as you're okay, that's what matters. Um, but 12-year-old boy died um, after being forced to. His name is Jadako Taylor in Akron, Ohio. Jadaka was forced to take ice baths as punishments, um, corporal punishment, and he putting him in the ice bath. I don't know if it was the duration or the whatever that went down with it, but it caused him to have a heart attack, and he died at the Akron Children's Hospital. With that, I said, and the hospital states that the Taylor went into two ice baths 45 minutes before his death. So two ice baths were they're saying was actually the cause of his heart attack and death. So again, be cautious with those things because I know people do that stuff too. Um, Disney is now basically setting up a luxury retirement community, right? Disney is setting up a luxury retirement community called Cotino that with a home at this Disney retirement community starts off at a low and meager $4 million. So if you want to live the golden years like a golden girl at the House of Mouse, all you need is just pocket change starting at $4 million. It will be a 300 home development that will eventually expand to 1,700 homes and 400 hotel rooms. So uh, if you live in large, um, that's where you can retire. They're also going to be doing several of these places that will be designed as specific Disney locations, meaning that you can actually live in the Pars house from Incredibles. So if you're in your 70s and you're like, you know what I'd love to do? I'd love to live in the Incredibles house for the rest of my years because that's not where I'd live. Now, if they the second house, yeah, Incredibles 2 house. Listen, hit me up when we get to Max and Goofy's house or like something like that. Um, I want to come home every day and Roxanne's dad grunt at me at the door. Um, no, but like I'm sure there are Disney places we'd love to live, but I ain't got $4 million. Who has time for that? Light work. Um, the White House had a successful break-in this week as a toddler snuck through the fence and slipped through the bars on the fence outside the White House. Wednesday at about 6:30, a young intruder managed to get onto the lawn and was quickly greeted by Secret Service, who gently picked up the young man and escorted him back to his parents. Seeing a smiling Secret Service agent with an AK-47 carry a little boy is like alarming. Um, Megan Fox gave birth to her fourth child, following her split with Machine Gun Kelly. And after 6 years and a few delays, One Punch Man season three is finally coming in October of 2025. So One Punch Man is one of the very old anime, but it has been a very slow rodeo at getting to where it's going. And last bit of news, Marvel announced a quick beat 'em up game is coming up, where players can pick two characters and punch through everything. So that's that. And before we bounce out of here and run to this hotel, or we go down to breakfast. Hey, if you're going to breakfast, grab me a fresh cup of coffee, please. Um, yeah. Before we're done with the news, let's read Nahum chapter 3, which I pre-rolled last night, so I didn't have to have dice shattering because I do have a very limited window this morning. Uh, you know how in the book of Jonah, like Jonah's real hard up not to go to Nineveh, and for most of us, we've never understood why that is. Listen to God actually having beef with Nineveh before, I'm assuming before sending Jonah. Nineveh chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the city of blood, full of lies, full of plunder, never without victims. So, if you've ever wondered why Jonah didn't like Nineveh and how good the redemption of Nineveh is, listen to this. The city of blood, full of plunder, never without victims, the crack of whips, the clatter of wheels, galloping horses, and jolting chariots, charging cavalry, flashing swords, glittering spears, many casualties, piles of dead bodies without number, people stumbling over the corpses, all because of the wanton lust of a prostitute alluring the mistress of sorceries, who enslaved nations by her prostitution and peoples with her witchcraft. Holy cow. Um, I just thought Nineveh or Jonah didn't like these people, but apparently these people really were like the worst before Jonah got there, and the message of redemption was offered. But literally, all because of the wanton lust of a prostitute alluring the mistress of sorceries, enslaved nations by her prostitution and peoples with her witchcraft. Verse 5 says, I am against you, declares the Lord. I will lift your skirts over your face. I will show the nations your nakedness and the kingdoms your shame. I know I've read the Bible before, but I don't remember that verse. Holy cow. Don't flag me, Facebook or YouTube. It's the Bible. Um, verse 6 says, I will pelt you with filth. He said, I'll fling poo at you. He says, I will pelt you with filth. I will treat you with contempt. I will make you a spectacle. And you and all who see you will flee from you and say, Nineveh is in ruins. Who will mourn for her? Where can I find anyone to comfort you? Are you better than Thebes, situated at the Nile with water around her? The river was her defense, the waters her wall. Cush and Egypt were her boundaries and strength. Put and Libya were among her allies. Yet she was taken captive and went into exile. Her infants were dashed to pieces at every street corner. Lots were cast for her nobles, and all her great men were put in chains. You too will become drunk. You will go into hiding and seek refuge from the enemy. All your fortresses are like fig trees with their ripe fruit. When they are shaken, the figs will fall to the mouth of the eater. Look at your troops. They are all weaklings. The gates to your land are wide open, and the enemy's fire has consumed the bars of your gates. Draw water for the siege, strengthen your defenses, work the clay, tread the mortar, repair the brickwork. There the fire will consume you, the sword will cut you down. They will devour you like a swarm of locusts. Multiply the grasshoppers, multiply the locusts. You have increased the number of your merchants till they are more numerous than the stars in the sky, but look like locusts, they strip the land and then fly away. There's a good verse for capitalism. Jeff, I saw your message in Patreon this morning, and I was going to message you. I'm excited to see you, dude. Um, I think this is a good verse for just capitalism in general. Um, Not that all capitalism is a bad thing, but when we're just focused on money and sales and products, you have increased the number of your merchants till they are more numerous than stars in the sky, but the locusts will strip the land and then fly away. Um, your guards are like locusts, your officials like swarms of locusts that settle in the walls in the cold of day. When the sun appears and fly away, no one knows where. Kings of Assyria, your shepherds slumber, your nobles lie down to rest. Your people are scattered on the mountains with no one to guard them. Nothing can heal you. Your wound is fatal. Well, nothing can heal you. Your wound is fatal. All who hear the news about you will clap their hands at your fall, for who has not felt your endless cruelty. Um, there's a lot of things that can, nothing can heal you. Your wound is fatal. All who hear the news about you will clap their hands at your fall, for who has not felt your endless cruelty. Jinkies. Now, I didn't pick this chapter. This was the dice, but also this really does put in context how how relatable it is that Jonah would not want to go here. How relatable it is that Jonah would not want these people to be forgiven. Because listen, the last verse God says about these people, period, in Nahum, is nothing can heal you. Your wound is fatal. All who hear the news about you will clap their hands at your fall. For who has not felt your endless cruelty? Jonah being aware of these type of people, would you can understand him not wanting to go there and him not them not wanting redemption. But look at how good God's grace and mercy is that he tells us how evil these people are, yet he still sends somebody to forgive them, and he actually delights when they repent. I'm just saying the worst of us can get the best of him, and that's the takeaway. Um, Jeff is one of our Patreon supporters, and before I bounce out of here and get ready for the day, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. Rivka and Tristan Birch, Dorothy Martin, Michelle Stewarts, Lynn Turner, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Jace Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, John Jacobs, Zach Harris, talked to him yesterday, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for helping make all that we do with Faith and Fandom possible. Um, I'm gonna save it for the Artist Alley aftermath, but like, yeah, I'll save it for that. But this is going to be a long weekend. Um, and these are long, hard days. This is 8 hour days at a time, or sorry, 12-hour days. We get in there at 8, we leave at 8. Um, and yeah, it's a lot. And I'm really, really grateful for y'all, for your support, your encouragement. I'm also really grateful for my daughter being here because this would low key kind of suck without her. Um, but yeah, thank y'all for being prayers. Thank y'all for being supporters. And I look forward to letting you know how today goes. Hope today's going to be a great day. Thank you for all that y'all do. And I will talk to you soon. I got to get ready because I got to leave for the show in 21 minutes. I will see y'all later. Bye.